Air Max, so.
Get them outside.
Eliminate all unauthorized.
Yeah, mama.
You snooze, you lose, man. Who came up with that fucking line? What a great line.
Oh, this is raid.
For the first time ever. That guy must have
The
felt like a
advantage is
fucking
ours. Hold
Little
it.
Wayne in 2006.
Whoa!
Rico's truck is having trouble starting, but he went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner tests and charges his battery, all for free.
Trying to predict the future is a hazardous occupation. The only thing we can be sure of is that...
Oh shit, they're just camping there.
That shit's sick, dude.
This is the shit I died to, bro.
I mean, we are giving them the best life possible. They were always scared. Now they're not really scared at all. Bro, either go in or fucking go out. Pick one. Move. Get in. This fucking yard sucks.
Yeah, man, no more shit for Fortnite.
Hey. I'm fucking Mexican. Mexican, not Mexican.
Alright, time to party.
Time to party! Too bad we're not in Mexico with the cartel. They'd be shooting guns into the air.
I like the hat. This is why you're losing.
Yeah! Let's go! What I'm talking about! That was sick.
You got the headphones plugged into the drum. Especially you don't know nobody else. It's a hard ass match. It's a top ass match.
This town ain't big enough for two retards. I reckon you lead this land, white boy.
What's up, Bella? What the fuck? Hello? Bye bye.
I see this and I'm like, wow.
Not even aiming
look
at
all this
nothing.
ammunition. We gotta use this for a prank. This shit has Corey's name written all over it.
I'm gonna get Corey to walk out, and then Dave's gonna dump horse shit all over him. It looks like grass, Loki, like chopped up grass.
What does he eat?
I know, boy.
Horses eat grass. You should eat grass for a week and see what you get. All you gotta do is get him outside. So, yo, we're heading out, bro. Can I get an outro for my video? He's gonna be like, hell yeah, screen time. Let's get this shit on the road.
Literally.
What?
Corey! Yo, Corey.
Hey, bro. What is this bullshit?
I know you're tired and shit. I just wanna get this. I mean, right here would be sick.
They're just gonna keep throwing fucking grenades and shit.
Nah, it's not horse shit. It can't be real, though. Hey, that's not real horse shit, right?
Okay.
You wanted to say hello.
You guys are disgusting.
Who's this?
What do you think, Double D?
Oh, Mont the Man?
I am not ready for this paintball shit.
Why?
I got shot in the side by a paintball gun. That sucked.
Shit, you might not even get shot. What we do is we spin a bottle, whoever it lands on gets to shoot, and then everyone else runs. You don't have to do it.
Fuck it, I can take a risk.
I love autism, bro. It's unreal.
I heard that.
I wasn't hiding it. I want the world to know. Fuck it, I'll
Fuck,
take
it's
the
not
risk.
leveled up enough?
I was trying to shoot you in the butt. The NBA playoffs are here, and this is the best time to get in on it. I've been using underdog for years to build my entries. There we go. Every game matters more in the playoffs. Constantly adjusting, finding matchups you like. You're building your squad. Wow.
And if your entry's hitting, you can get up to a 100% boost and get even more out of every playoff game.
Oh, that fucking hurt.
You're hot.
I had the music on, bro. I'm vibing.
What?
I found what?
Bear's gonna lose his mind, bro. Did you get Bear again? Oh, he's gonna be pissed, bro.
Everyone wanting to stab some shit in this fucking game now.
That damn Uber guy, he stole my damn cheeseburger. He's molested my shake. Wrapped his lips around the straw and stuff, but I know, but I don't want it.
I didn't hit.
I don't think you find a fucking mother stomach. You just have to roll over.
Hey!
You can take that.
It was a crazy wall bang, by the way.
Rio.
We're going to Texas to ride horses and stuff. We're gonna ride a bull.
Oh shit.
Enemy UAV detected.
A young couple suddenly goes missing in South Carolina. Police are searching everywhere for them. Out of nowhere, they get a ping from the cell phone belonging to the missing couple. Police obtain a search warrant for private property in Spartanburg.
I was actually going crazy there for a second. Okay.
Booking.com is all kinds of things.
This kid.
Because a romantic hotel works for some,
Not a mirror.
but not others. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, booking.com.
Nothing in the pony? What's all the hype about?
As soon as I walk in there,
Arriving on the property, they find a missing woman alive contained in a shipping container. The investigation launched shortly after led to the discovery of several buried bodies that were allegedly missing their feet, the most insane Amazon reviews of murder tools, and the arrest of a people millionaire serial killer. This is the story of Todd Colhead. Welcome back to Crime is Fun, ladies and gentlemen. I don't condone crime, but you have to admit it's kind of fun to listen
Kind of crazy with it.
and I have fun talking about it.
Hostile UAV established above. Enemy RCXD detected.
Peek me.
There's something that first responders say. If you're not laughing, then you're gonna cry. This episode is gonna be a little different than the past couple in the sense that it's gonna be a little bit more serious. It's easy to joke about a guy in Australia sucking turtles, but kinda hard to joke about a guy killing several people, possibly cutting their feet off and burying them with a backhoe on his personal
Hard scoping like a bitch, bro.
I actually made a video about this one 8 years ago because it happened in the same place that I used to police. That'd be Spartanburg, South Carolina. Since then, a whole lot more crazy stuff has been released about the investigation, so I thought it would be interesting to touch on the case again. Prepare yourself for a roller coaster of a story about serial killer Todd Colhead. Welcome to the 5th episode of Crime
shit, I didn't
is
see him.
Fun. I just wanted to stop real quick.
Hard
before we get into
scoping.
Todd Colhead, and
Oh,
thank you
pussy.
all for the 50,000 subscribers. You guys are freaking awesome, and I hope to be doing these every week forever. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, hit that notification bell. Or you can watch this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Last week when I did that Special Forces episode, I slowed my voice down a little bit because people said I was going too fast.
Oh my god.
Because I slowed down a little bit, I guess it appeared that I was intoxicated and everyone was asking me how much I was drinking. So I mom
What the fuck am I looking at?
So I don't seem like an alcoholic. So Todd
Bro has
told
negative
them.
movement.
On March 7th, 1971, Todd Christopher
Negative
Sansel
movement.
was born
His
in
fucking-
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. His parents were basically just 2 years old. Todd's mom gets
Bro, what?
custody and quickly remarries.
Bro shot at a fucking tree. When the guy was behind the tree. Just sprayed it directly at this
Seeing
tree.
as how he raped, murdered, and lied his way through life, I'm going to guess the stepfather was probably abusive. The red
That's not
flags
what I wanted
start
to do.
early, like nursery school level early. His caregivers start noticing that he's super aggressive toward other kids. He does things like destroy their toys and physically harm them. He also showed an interest in sexual content at an incredibly young age. It got so bad that at 9 years old he started counseling for this behavior. Counselors described Todd as explosive. At around 11 years old, Todd gets evaluated by Spartanburg School District 3 after constantly acting out in class and getting in trouble. He's disruptive and still very aggressive towards the other kids. He's destroying their projects and toys, and one report notes he once locked a boy in a dog cage and rolled him around the yard like it was a twisted game. Okay, to be fair, I definitely did stuff like that to my little brother. Another time, he stabbed a girl in the leg with something because she wouldn't give him what he wanted. Okay, to be fair, I definitely never stabbed my little brother. Todd's not a nice kid. Neighbors and family describe him as impossible to control. He even threatened to kill his own mother at one point. One time, he destroyed the new family remodeled bathroom with a hammer in a fit of rage. He goes so far as to shred his own new clothes. He even gets kicked out of the Boy Scouts for being too disruptive. Do you know how hard it is to get kicked out of the Boy Scouts? Young Todd definitely wanted to live with his biological father, who he hadn't seen in 8 years. By age 12, his mother and stepfather separate, and he's shipped off to Arizona to live with his dad. That's when he takes the last name Coalhead. He was constantly bouncing between mom and dad, so he never really had a stable.
Bro, how long was it gonna take for you to get there?
One thing people say and always say, oh yeah, that kid's gonna grow up to be a serial killer. Yep, he was hurting animals too. For no reason, Todd started shooting the neighbor's dog with a BB gun. One day, he decides that he wants a different pet, so he pours bleach in the fish tank to kill his goldfish.
Fucking mantle?
Thank God he never got
I
that
mantled?
new pet.
Well,
He probably
ADS?
didn't get that new pet because he was admitted to a mental health facility in Georgia for a couple of months.
Bro, move the fuck out of the way.
Psychiatric hospital because he still literally just couldn't get along with his children. His father later told police that the only emotion Todd showed was anger and kindness. In his teens, he collects guns, learns how to blow things up, and how to make bombs. Turns out he may have also owned a certain teenager like I did. Why his father allowed him to do this is beyond my understanding.
There's a guy there.
My little rascal just loves beating up his peers and killing animals. I should let him have access to firearms. Nothing bad that. Court documents from a brutal crime he committed in 1986 paint a picture of a kid who feels the world owes him something. He has an above average IQ at 1.18, but evaluators call him behaviorally and emotionally dangerous and likely could not be rehabilitated. A judge notes he's very bright and should be advanced academically, but also a future menace. Boy, was that judge right. One early evaluation flagged borderline personality disorder traits. This is a textbook future serial killer starter pack stuff. He's got an unstable home, abuses animals, has a sexual preoccupation at a young age, explosive rage as the dominant emotion, and
I really
obsession
watched
with
that one. I was like,
weapons.
holy shit.
I mean, the system flags him repeatedly, but keeps
Sometimes I'm just goated, other times I'm not.
crime that took place in the 80s, November 25th, 1986. 15-year-old Coleman.
Why are they all there?
Dad is out of town. Yeah, I don't think anything good can come from an unsupervised psychotic teenager. Todd grabs his father's .22 caliber revolver and starts scoping out a victim. He targets his 14-year-old neighbor, Christy Granado, who lives just 3 houses away. Todd walks up to her, points the revolver at her head, and forces her to walk back into his house.
What the fuck, where? Hello?
Keeps her mouth shut and assaults her. Afterwards,
Boy.
he walks her home and threatens to kill
Boy.
her family if she
Hard
tells
scoping like a
Of course,
bitch.
she tells everyone,
Bitch.
and Todd is arrested immediately. He's charged with kidnapping, rape, and committing a dangerous crime against children. In a plea deal, he pleads guilty to kidnapping and the other charges.
I didn't shoot.
Todd has been sentenced
Shoot.
to 15 years in prison and registers as a great man. He's evil, but he's not stupid, so in prison he earns a bachelor's degree in computer science from Central Arizona College. Early prison records show some violent write-ups, like fighting other inmates, but after age 20, he cleans up his act on paper. He serves 14 years and is released in August 2001 at 11 years old. The system basically says, good behavior, you're rehabilitated. Well, spoiler alert, he abso-freaking-lutely was not rehabilitated. After his release, Todd moves to South Carolina where his mom lives. He works as a graphic designer in Spartanburg from early 2002 to late 2003. He
Catch
takes
me off
classes
guard.
at the University
Hey,
of
bro.
South Carolina Upstate, graduating in 2008 with a BS.
I don't have all the attachments I want.
On June 30th, 2006, he applies for a real estate license and lies about his conviction. He gets the license anyway.
I didn't know he was dead.
Todd builds a small firm of about a dozen agents and becomes a top selling agent in the Spartanburg and Greenville region. I was a
Had what?
realtor during that time in the same city, so I probably ran into him a couple times. In
I almost got it several times. Whole nation was gonna fight this case for us.
Net call. Napalm strike inbound. Hostile UAV established above.
In May 2014, he buys nearly 100 acres.
Fucking hit marker, dude.
I was a realtor during that time in the same city, so I probably ran into him a couple times. In May 2014, he buys nearly 100 acres in Woodruff, South Carolina for a little over $300,000 and spends another $80,000 on heavy fencing to make it his private little sanctuary. A pretty fucked up sanctuary. By this time, he owns a private pilot license and owns a couple more properties around the United States. You can probably already tell from the title, he's a freaking serial killer. So I wonder if he got the idea of having a private pilot license from Robert Hansen, better known as the Butcher Baker. Just like Todd,
Like every dead ass?
surface seemed like a mild-mannered small business owner. Also, just like Todd, when he was younger, he enjoyed kidnapping and assaulting women. From 1972 to 1983, Hansen would lure women back to his home, drug them, and assault them. Afterwards, he would load them onto his private plane and fly them up to his property in the remote Alaskan wilderness. Upon arrival, he would release the kidnapped ladies in the forest and hunt them like a deer with a rifle and a knife. That's a whole nother episode of Time Slum. Let's get back to Todd. On the surface, he looks successful. He was very outgoing, very professional, and very business savvy. Some people thought, though, he was a little off. Customers describe him as extremely outgoing, but he was quick to talk about firearms and slip in sexual video. Oh, I don't think those employees would have liked my other podcast, unsubscribe then. One banker who worked with him says Todd watched adult videos at the office. I'd say that's a little bit too much. Todd's double life is in full swing. He's a successful real estate agent with houses, flying planes, carrying guns, all while still a felon on the sex offender registry. One of the crazier things he was doing during the time before being caught was leaving Amazon reviews for items that he was using to hurt and keep other human beings captive on his property. One review for a forward grip for an AR-15 stated, "It's blacker than my soul and priced right." A review on a foldable military-style portable shovel stated, "Keep in your car when you have to hide the bodies and you let the full-size shovel at home. Does not come with a midget, which would have been nice." One on the Husqvarna chainsaw states, "Works well, but it's hard to get the neighbor to stand still while you chase him with it." A review on an SOG fixed blade knife states, "Haven't stabbed anyone yet."
All up in the damn way.
But I am keeping the dream alive, and when I do, it will be a quality tool like this. A review on a high-security master padlock states, "Solid lock. Have 5 on a shipping container. Won't stop them, but sure will slow them down so they're too old to repair." Another master lock review states, "Works great. Also, if someone talks back, go old school on them by putting this in a sock and beating them. They will not appreciate the hardened steel like you do. Works great on the shipping containers." Todd is leaving all these crazy reviews on this stuff during this time because obviously he's up to some nefarious evil stuff. Around 2015, he had a habit of going into a specific Waffle House in Roebuck, South Carolina, ordering the same thing. That Waffle House was beside my house, and I ate there all the time on the way to my shift as a police officer. Again, I probably ran into Todd. The waitresses knew him, had a whole
The enemy sniping, hard scoping, bitch ass motherfucker.
because he had a habit of creeping on Waffle House waitresses. This is a guy who watches adult videos in his real estate office.
You're not me. You don't got the micro adjustments like that.
He would ask them to come home with him and give them big tips. One waitress in particular caught his eye. That was Megan Lee McCraw Coxey. Megan and her husband Johnny had been struggling financially for a while. She had a couple run-ins with the law, including a child neglect charge from her baby testing positive for heroin in December of 2015. Around the same time their baby... The couple is panhandling all over busy intersections in Spartanburg. There's a good chance that I probably ran them off a couple times because panhandling was illegal in city limits. Todd had allegedly spotted them panhandling and offered cash work for odd jobs on his properties. Megan told her mom that a real estate agent had hired her to clean homes and had also hired her husband Johnny to do work on his property. Just little things like clearing brush, cleaning up his buildings, and simple manual labor. Well, the couple suddenly goes missing.
Guys.
No one knows what happens to them until Todd is called about a year later in November of 2016. A combination
GG's,
of
man.
arrest
GG's.
warrant reports and Todd's confession paint a grisly picture. On December 19, 2015, the couple arrived at Todd's property to do some work he had promised them.
Do a little BAMS troll. GG's, man. GG's.
So Todd shot him in the chest 2 times. After shooting Johnny, he tackles Megan, handcuffs her, and shackles her legs. If this was
Level 1000
Todd tried to say, he probably
might be winning this fucking match. Fucking level 800, level 1000.
Container for days. Todd actually tried to cut a deal with her.
Yeah, bro.
He told her he'd set up a $10,000 trust for her infant daughter and drive her to be with her family in Tennessee if she'd just forget the whole thing. Let bygones be bygones about, me shooting your husband in the Of course, just to get the hell out of there, she agreed to his terms. On or around Christmas Day, Todd opened up the shipping container made
Run, 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 run.
Unchained and walking toward Todd's car. At last, Todd shoots her in the back of the head instead of killing her. According to him in later interviews, he really was going to let her go, but for a second he started thinking about the possibility of being pulled over by police in the Tennessee. He thought about her freaking out and telling police about the murder and kidnapping.
Fine.
The bastard didn't want to risk any of that, so the
I knew
next
it.
option to him was a bullet.
I just didn't want to.
Todd buried the couple on his property near the shipping container prison. To me, they kind of sound like the target of a serial killer. You have a couple who is addicted to heroin and are basically vagrants begging for money. People like that are typically known for being sketchy and skipping town. It's like how a lot of serial killers target prostitutes, knowing the majority of the time no one will miss them for a while or even call. There have been more than a few serial killers who have said that they also target sex workers.
Bro, I fucking gave up on shooting. I've never seen someone give up on shooting.
In this situation, though,
Wow.
Megan's mom was wondering where her daughter was, so she reported her missing on December 22nd, just 3 days before Todd executed her. After murdering the couple, I'm guessing he thought, damn, that was pretty easy, because it wasn't long before he was shot.
Oh shit.
Using Facebook, Todd found a woman named Kayla Brown. He offered her a job to UAV real estate properties. Eventually, he offered her and her boyfriend the
Couldn't get away.
work that he had offered.
I want to run away.
They needed the cash, so they agreed to help the friendly real estate agent. What's the worst that could happen, they thought. On August 31st, 2016, 30-year-old Kayla Brown and her boyfriend, 32-year-old Tony Carter, head over to Todd's property. The couple starts clearing up some heavy overgrowth. At some point, Kayla and Chris bicker in front of Todd, just normal couple stuff. Then, as Kayla later recounted on the Dr. Phil show, we were standing there and I looked up, he walked out and he had the gun in his hand and he pretty much just shot Charlie before he even made it completely out of the door. Todd put 3 shots into Charlie's chest. Kayla watches her boyfriend crumple right in front of her. She said Todd stays completely calm about having just killed Charlie. Charlie's body gets wrapped in a blue tarp.
Oh, that's an enemy?
Tractor bucket and buried nearby. Kayla never sees his body again after the shooting. Real quick before we get into Kayla's fate, let me tell you what this crazy bastard did with Charlie's home. A couple of weeks after he was killed, Todd started posting on Charlie's Facebook. Yeah, he killed Charlie and kept updating his status. His Facebook update saying he and Kayla were married, buying a house,
Hit marker.
and expecting a daughter. The page also shared posts about digging holes, sword violence, and the final verse of the Eagles Hotel, California. In early October, someone posing as Carver uploaded and deleted an old photo of the couple, captioned, "We are fine." That's kind of a red flag. We are fine. Hi, family and friends, you haven't seen us for weeks, but we are fine. When friends reach out on the page, Todd sometimes posed as Charlie Carver, and other times implied they were Carver's estranged wife.
Sometimes you just lose track of what the fuck's going on.
I would keep my nose clean out of it. How do you know my hubby? Hoping you can keep the story straight as a dude you just shot. Alright, back to Kayla. Todd forces Kayla to the ground after shooting Charlie, handcuffs her wrist behind her back, cuffs her ankles, and shoves a ball gag in her mouth. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. He had the restraints ready to take her into captivity. Todd drags her to the 30-foot-long metal shipping container he had prepped as his personal dungeon. This is the same one that he prepared before he executed her.
You would be there with the fucking SMG of the century.
There are shelves lined with dry food rations and enough water bottles to sustain some.
Like, bro, every time I look away, this guy's shooting me.
And some custom Todd modifications. He had already welded chain anchors to the metal walls.
Enemy UAV detected.
Kind of seems like he had been planning this for a while. Todd chained her to the wall immediately. He locks one heavy chain around her neck and secured to the wall with only about 3 feet of slack. He puts another chain on her ankles so that she can't run. Kayla can barely move. She can barely sit up fully without the chain tightening around her neck. Within minutes, he rapes her for the first time.
I hit the mine. Are we dead ass?
Twice a day, morning and night, every single day for over 2 months. Kayla described Todd as methodical and calm even during the assault, like it was just part of his daily routine. Life in the container is sensory deprivation hell for the poor girl. South Carolina's summer heat turns the metal box into an
hit marker.
Todd opens the door and brings a small lamp. There was no proper bathroom facilities beyond what you would allow.
Hostile UAV established.
So I died to a drone.
Dependent on them for minimal food and water. The neck changes together
Advantage is ours. Hold it.
He rarely moves her. He has more restraint skills. She stays clothed but filthy, humiliated, and terrified.
Only hit markers.
Talks a lot. He brags to Caleb that he's good at killing people. He hints his victim count is multiplication, not addition. She later said in his stories his body count is nearly 100 in some ways. His body's out of state and even out of the country thanks to his pilot's license. Like I was saying earlier, he shows her the fresh grave of Johnny and Megan Coxey. He tells Kayla, "See those? That's what happens if you try to run from me." The dude eventually develops a full-blown, weird infatuation for her. He tells Kayla she is his property now. He says he chose her because she is beautiful and smart, and explains Stockholm Syndrome to her in detail, and says it will eventually kick in, saying, "We would be happy together." He has a long-term plan to keep her chained up until he trusts her more, then build a soundproof room on the property, eventually let her walk free. He says one day when he gets old and sick, he'll even let her go and give her some money. In Kayla's own words, from the Dr. Phil show, he seemed infatuated. I don't think he wanted to kill me, he wanted to keep me. He let me know that I was his property, that I'd never go anywhere, and that he chose me. So that's weird.
Enemy UAV detected.
Kayla plays the long game to survive. She keeps telling herself, as long as I serve my purpose, I was safe. She stays quiet, compliant, doesn't fight or scream when he's not there, which really doesn't help because the property is isolated. She conserves energy, prays often, and really catalogs
performance is trending
these
below
details she will
acceptable
later
thresholds.
spread out to rescuers in the first moment of freedom. Todd occasionally brings small comforts like a blanket and extra food, but the chains of the assault stop.
Holy hit markers.
5 days of that nightmare. She hears occasional sounds outside, mostly just Todd working on the property, but mostly on November 3rd, 2016, Spartanburg Sheriff's Department investigators finally connect some dots on the
GG's.
cell phone pings.
I've never hit more hit markers in my life.
Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office gets a search warrant and rolls in with a large team. The deputies start clearing brush. captures this moment. Kayla's sitting on the floor and still fully chained by the neck to the wall with that short 3-foot slab. She looks exhausted but remarkably composed. An officer asks if she knows where her buddy is. Her voice is quiet.
Zach, do you know how to get to the
She answers
chat?
instantly.
Hell no.
Alright, you see those where all your shit is up there in the top right?
Heat is on you every day.
Go to the headset.
An office.
You'll see. You should see one that
She
says chat
spills
ban.
the beans. She says Todd Colehep shot Charlie Carter 3 times in the chest.
What you not
wrapped
seeing,
him in
my
a
guy?
blue tarp,
I'm about to invite
put him
you
in the
to
bucket
it
of the
again.
tractor, locked me down. I've never seen him again. He says he's dead and buried. He says there are several
Alright, it's
bodies
coming.
dead and buried out here. In under 30 seconds of freedom, she has already named the killer by full name, described the murder, the body disposal method, and hinted at more graves on the property. Officers use bolt cutters to remove the neck chain. She tells them calmly, "My neck's attached to the wall up here." The medics then rush in. She's dehydrated, bruised, and traumatized, but alive and talking. Kayla had heard the search team outside and started slamming whatever she could reach against the metal walls. She knew it was her one shot at rescue, and she took it, and it worked. At the hospital, Kayla keeps spilling details. She identifies photos of the Coxey couple and confirms the graves Todd has shown her. Then she drops the biggest bombshell yet. Todd had casually confessed details of the 2003 Superbike Motorsports quadruple homicide tour while she was chained up. She gives enough specifics that investigators finally have the link that they needed for 13 years. Superbike murders, or if you watch my podcast, unsubscribe the Superbike murders. Let me explain that real quick. It's quiet Thursday afternoon, November 6, 2003.
Yo, I'll
South
fucking...
Carolina. It's a small business called Superbike Motorsports, your typical motorcycle dealership used by all the locals for bike repairs and sales. Inside, you've got 4 people going about their day like it's just another Thursday. 30-year-old Scott Ponder, who is the owner. Scott is a married man and his wife is pregnant with their son. He's the guy who built this place from the ground up. Number 2, Scott's mom, 52-year-old Beverly Guy, is handling the books in the showroom. 3, we got 29-year-old Brian Lucas, who is the service manager and one of Scott's friends. And lastly, number 4, there's 26-year-old small engine mechanic Chris Sherbert, who's working on a black Suzuki in the back. It's business as usual. Then at around 2:45 in the afternoon, a customer walks in the front door looking for some help with his motorcycle. The customer doesn't get that help, he just finds 4 bodies. 2 bodies inside the business, 2 more outside the parking lot, and there's blood everywhere. There's also a mix of 18 brass and nickel-plated 9mm shell casings. Whoever killed the 4 Superbike employees didn't take money, parts, or even a motorcycle. According to later reports, they had come for revenge, and that revenge had allegedly been simmering for months. We'll talk about why I say allegedly here in a minute. This case has gotten deeper and crazier every year since Todd chained up poor Kayla in the concrete. According to reports and Todd's testimony back in April 2003,
Flinch is insane.
Motorsports and bought himself a blue and white Suzuki GSX R750. He had paid about $9 grand for it. Problem was, Todd wasn't exactly an experienced rider. He dropped the bike, scratched it up, and regretted the purchase immediately. Frustrated and embarrassed, he tried to bring it back to Superbike and traded it in for a smaller 600cc bike. Todd walked into the bike shop and told the employees what had happened. They allegedly
That guy just wanted my sniper.
They made jokes and laughed in his face. One employee comment that stuck with Todd was, "Is the second motorcycle going to get stolen too?" Because Todd had reported one of his first bikes stolen not long before and lost the deductible on the insurance claim. Todd felt humiliated and disrespected. Slugging it off like a normal human being, he let that grudge fester inside him for months. Fast forward to November 6, 2003. Todd walks in from the back of the shop like he owns the place, carrying a 9mm pistol. First, he finds Chris Sherbert working on that black Suzuki in the service area and shoots him in the head. Then he steps into the showroom and puts a couple of rounds into Beverly Guy's, Scott's mom. Next, Todd shoots Brian Lucas near the main doorway. Finally, Scott Ponder runs into the parking lot and tries to call for help. The phone actually shows he dialed 333, which is Scott's speed dial, but Todd follows him right out in the parking lot and finishes the job. That's 4 people executed in under a minute. According to reports, some of them got forehead finishers from the killer for good measure. Todd later bragged in his confession, saying, "I cleared that morning in under 30 seconds. There was no robbery or struggle, just pure ice-cold execution because 4 motorcycle shop employees had the audacity to laugh at him months earlier. The case goes stone cold for 13 years. There were over 750 leads followed by investigators. 27 guns were tested, shell casings were even sent all the way to England for advanced fingerprint technology. America's Most Wanted was a segment in 2012 with a $25,000 reward. The composite sketch of a possible suspect leads nowhere. Nothing hits and no one knows what the heck happened until Todd said he did it 13 years later. Back when I was researching this case nearly a decade ago, there were rumors the sheriff at the time was trying really hard to be reelected, so he agreed to help Todd avoid the death penalty if Todd admitted to being the bad guy in the Superbike cold case. As I said, that's not a statement, those were just rumors I heard. Back then, I did come across a very interesting article written by a woman named Pat Brown. Pat states she has a lengthy professional history in profiling cold cases for law enforcement. Her website says she's made thousands of TV appearances on every major news network, and she holds a master's degree in criminal justice from Boston University. According to her website, PatBrownProfiling.com, she provides criminal profiling consultation, education, and training to law enforcement, media, universities, corporations, and private individuals. She says in 2009 she was brought in by the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Department to profile the Superbike murder case and saw every piece of evidence. A couple years later, Sheriff Chuck Wright held up a sketch and said, "I'm going to be bold enough to say this is my man right here." Pat saw this broadcast and was confused because there was zero physical evidence at that time. 2016 rolls around, Kayla is saved, Todd is arrested, and he tells investigators, "I killed all the people at Superbike." Pat's website states an investigator on the case tells the TV show 48 Hours that Todd said he shot each victim in the forehead. Again, Pat Brown, who said she was brought in to profile the case, thinks something was fishy, because according to the autopsy, none of the victims were shot in the forehead. Pat wrote a couple of articles about having doubts that Todd is the real Superbike killer on the website. The opinions in the comment section of those articles vary, with some people saying Sheriff Chuck Wright is lying, and some people saying Pat is lying. I don't know. I do know last year Sheriff Wright got into a little trouble and disappeared from the public eye for a bit. All my friends were giving me crap because they said he disappeared to come to Texas to shoot me for talking about the Superbike murders and all that. Which, that's cool, he didn't. According to the Department of Justice website, he's going to be in federal prison for a minute. Justice.gov states Charles Chuck Wright, 60 years old, the former sheriff of Spartanburg County, Amos Durham, 61, a former chaplain for the department, and Lawson B. Watson, 63 years old, a former employee, have pled guilty for their participation in a public corruption scheme that defrauded the county of public funds for years. You see, a lot of police and sheriff's departments have what's called a benevolence fund, which is managed by the department chaplain. The chaplain is kind of like a preacher. You can just talk to him about stress or how you feel after shooting someone. The benevolence fund is there to help deputies in times of need, like financial difficulties and traumatic line-of-duty events. According to court documents from October of 2025, the chaplain and Sheriff Wright were planning on siphoning money out of the fund. Reports say Sheriff Wright had also hired a buddy to help with the embezzlement and was paying him $200,000 a year of taxpayer money.
Fuck you, bro.
On top of trying to steal money from downtrodden sheriff's deputies and hiring his homie just to sit on his ass, Sheriff Wright had, quote, intentionally obtained 147 pills of oxycodone and hydrocodone by misrepresentation from an individual after representing that the pills would be turned in and destroyed as part of the Take Back narcotic disposal program administered by the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office. In fact, Wright was obtaining the narcotics for his own personal use. Did Sheriff Wright do some shady illegal stuff during his time in office? According to the Department of Justice and his guilty plea, he absolutely did. Did he talk Todd Colef into admitting to the Superbike murders for a little boost right before elections? I have no idea. Some people say yes, some people say no. Let's get back to what happened after the Sheriff's Department found Caleb locked up in that shipping container. Todd's arrested the same day on the property. The search turns up Charlie's body and the Coxey's body. Todd was also in possession of dozens of firearms and suppressors. Dude was a registered felon, sex offender,
hit marker,
who
yes,
didn't have a gun. So it turns out he got most of them through straw purchases, which is super freaking illegal. A straw purchase is when someone legally buys a gun, then gives it or sells it to someone who cannot buy a gun. Kinda like a felon who's a sex offender. One dummy named Dustin Lawson ended up
Trust them
catching
while they're on the
36
defensive.
federal charges for buying Todd at least 12 guns and 6 suppressors over a couple-year period. 3 months after the rescue, Kayla sits down with Dr. Phil for her first public interview. She described the pitch-black container, the exact short chain link, the ball gag, the immediate grate, the twice-daily assaults, and Todd's eerily calm demeanor during everything. She talks about his twisted, long-term romance delusions and how he explains Stockholm Syndrome like a lecture. He didn't want to kill me, he wanted to keep me. That's why I did what I had to do to survive. No matter what he did to me, he did not break me. He cannot destroy me, and I won. Old girl was brave and did great on Dr. Phil. The Todd's taken into custody November 2016. Over multiple interrogation sessions, he confesses his crimes in great detail. He's calm, polite, and according to reports, gives specifics only the killer would know.
Oh shit, Shadow's back.
Shot by shot. He admits to killing the Coxies in late 2015 and Charlie Carver on August 31st, 2016. He hints at more victims and again says, yeah, there's more than 7. It's not an addition problem, it's a multiplication problem. Leaving the state and leaving the country. Thank you, private pilot license. Yeah, those are his words. Hell, I wouldn't doubt it. Why confess to murders that no one even knows about when you're trying not to get the death penalty? In May 2017, he pleads guilty to all 7 murders, plus the kidnapping and raping of Kayla Brown as part of a deal to avoid the death penalty. He received 7 consecutive life sentences with no parole, plus 60 years. Todd appears in court in an orange jumpsuit, simply says variations of guilty, sir.
It's time to say goodbye to big cable bills. So we brought in Marie Kondo to help us.
They do. They do, Marie. That's why.
Evaluators across his life flagged high IQ paired with borderline personality disorder, explosive rage, and an inability to feel normal emotions beyond anger. There's childhood animal abuse, early sexual preoccupation, and unstable home life predicted this a long time ago. In prison letters, he brags about additional victims that were never fully confirmed by investigators. The 2019 investigation discovery series Serial Killer, Devil Unchained explores the possibilities. Todd remains a case study on how high intelligence and low empathy can hide in plain sight for years. He would have kept getting away with it if it wasn't for one survivor. That's the only reason Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, and even the dude I was talking about hunting women in Alaska got caught. One person survived. After being Todd's prisoner and sharing her story on Dr. Phil, Kayla receives a $25,000 reward.
Alaska thing, I've watched the movie of that. The Alaska thing, I've watched the movie of that.
Her attorney originally asked for $363 million, which of course Todd didn't have.
What is a documentary about? Brennan Herrera's serial killers or something. Oh my god, I didn't expect them all to run that one way.
Todd was broke. His family took what money he had left.
It's not the guy that used to kill a bunch of people and then had a false.
I'm dog shit.
We know.
Ah.
UAV established above.
Bullets. This is Alexei Kravchenko. He's 14 years old. He's also not an actor. This is his first time on a film set. And this is not CGI. These are real bullets that are flying above his head. And these are real explosions that they're running from. And this is not the one. Did they get permission to make this?
Hey bro, can you leave spawn?
Fat is like nature's gold. It provides more than twice the energy of
Oh, play this game like that, motherfuckers.
On October 11, 2008,
Behind? What are these spawns?
2008, a man named Scott Collins showed up to a home.
They already did ass.
2683 in rural Texas.
Let me try this gun.
Trespassing signs, security cameras, and sally ports guarding the entryway.
Enemy
Freeman
UAV
was there for a
detected.
night of time. But he thinks that trying to invade.
But as night gave way to dawn with no signs of danger, he and his hosts got into 2 separate cars to embark on a trip to the nearby city.
Cordite. This gun's fun.
Freeman never made it there. On the morning of October 12th, passing discovered his bullet-riddled body lying next to Freeman's pickup truck on a turnout off Farm to Market Road 787.
That's friendly. Tripping.
Police arrived. They recognized him.
Enemy dog established on your trail.
He was known by the nickname Arizona and served as the highest member of the Aryan Brotherhood.
Is this Fortnite?
Hostile UAV established above.
A white
We're
supremacist
funny.
HKD drop detected.
as a strong presence
Hostile secure inbound.
Where? Oh.
in a web of political and personal problems. And this was the result. By the end of an AVP general named Steve Stain Cook and a soldier named David Jason Michaels
Ninja.
in charge with luring Freeman
Ghost.
out of his car, gunning him down, and attempting to cover up the crime.
Cold-blooded. There we go. Sword.
Leaders of the ABT had used a cell phone smuggled in by a corrupt guard to shoot it to order with cool,
Shotgun.
calculated efficiency, knowing that their command would be obeyed on pain of death. For the ABT, it was just one of countless brazen violent crimes committed inside and outside of prison, as the gang grew from a small group of state prison inmates seeking protection to a network of 5 factions, collectively known as the Wheel. The ABT has several creeds, but one known as GFBD stands out among them. It means God
Like where?
brothers don't.
My teammates are killing me with this shit.
But today's
Patch up the holes. Go somewhere where no one's at.
Texas, someone can believe about the sheer terror that the gang is able to
That was skill issue on my part.
It is enough to drive
Enemy
people to
UAV
murder their
detected.
friends without the ABT even having to lift a finger. Today we will be delving into the gang known as the Solid Wood Soldiers. It has been labeled a support group and appears to shadow much of the larger prison paramilitary structure, its code of conduct, white supremacist philosophy, and
It's not noob. It's just fucking.
the Solid Wood Soldiers, or SWS for short, started in the Texas prison system in the
They are
1990s.
pressing their advantage.
Originally,
Take control of
SWS
this.
was formed under the acronym STUPID.
I'm in the unemployment lobbies and I don't play this game now like that. You know? I just so happen to be good at Call of Duty.
For Peckerwood, and a group of active white gangsters in prison, commonly referred to as the Wood Hive.
Fucking hell, bro.
The president, vice president, council member, major, captain, all the way down.
Like I'm getting shot through walls.
Depending on their conduct.
Roll back. Mission is
Jesus.
With 2 lightning bolt style letter S's on either side of the W, and the numbers 14 and 10 at the bottom. 1410 refers to 2 pacts that have been embraced by many white supremacist movements around North America. The 14-word pledge is an
Like you see this motherfucker?
oath to secure the existence of our race and future, end quote.
KBM Warrior.
Said, quote, unity is the only solution to the white man's revolution, end quote.
6'9", nice.
Damn, he's good, bro. He's good.
But unlike many hardcore
Very
prisoners
nice.
who have a blood-in, blood-out
We got
ratio,
I'm dog blogger
SWS allows people to be jumped in and jumped out.
It's okay,
Where
Dora.
they
It's
simply
okay.
have to endure a beating, according to police.
I'm also rusty as shit.
On the spectrum of white gangs,
Dude, Dora, you're
some,
not
such as
dog
the
warrior,
Aryan
bro.
Circle,
You got
serve mainly to
5
promote
kills.
white supremacist
What do you mean?
philosophy, while
No,
others,
I'm
such
actually
as the
dog warrior.
California-based Aryan
This is my
Brotherhood,
first time
may
playing.
incorporate racist symbols, but more generally exist as a traditional criminal organization
Okay,
willing
you
to
and
ally
like
with gangs
what?
of other races to make money. While estimations of the Solid Wood Soldiers' membership have varied greatly, in this investigation we're about to cover, authorities claimed they had identified more than 100 SWS members and associates operating both inside and outside of prison.
Modern Warfare 2.
Members are still showing
Okay.
up in the news.
Modern Warfare 2 is fun.
Last January,
Love
when an
sniping in
SWS
it.
member was arrested for allegedly trafficking meth.
I love the
to
intervention.
be used for storing various stolen automobiles and trailers. But in the early 2010s, the gang was operating with a very specific purpose in mind: to sell enough methamphetamine that its members
Bitch, I'm
could
a big
afford to buy
gangster.
property
Sell out
or
the
to
porn
create a
like
separatist
cocaine
white
slang.
community somewhere in Texas, which they estimated would cost
Actually,
a grand total
hold on.
of $30,000.
This
At the time,
Rev
the
Stormwolf.
SWS was being led by a man named Craig Pitts.
Hit me out. Customized
aka
camo.
Bo7. was attempting to give the gang cover for its illegal businesses through sophisticated money laundering schemes to write off illegal funds as donations to a fictitious nonprofit organization. It just so happened that Pips was incarcerated in federal prison for a conviction of being a felon in possession of firearms. But he had a release date on the horizon, and in the meantime, there were people on the outside he felt he could trust. Namely, there was Christopher Lee Guidry, an SWS captain who went by the nickname Hollywood, and Tanner Lynn Bork, who used the monikers Two Shoes and Hitman, and who served as a council member. Together, the two were determined to run
Spawn swap already?
Vidor, Texas, a small town near the eastern border where the Ku Klux Klan was known to openly operate during the 1980s and 90s. Their plan had one main thing. Bork and Guidry lacked connections to the type of drug dealing necessary to support such an operation. So the two decided to start making the drug themselves, using so-called shake-and-bake method. Recent restrictions on YouTube prevent us from going into the details of this method, other than to say it's extremely crude and unsanitary. So much so that many meth addicts turn up their noses to it. They continued this way, selling small amounts to whoever would buy it, but not holding funds.
Why?
Eventually, Guidry and Bork made a new connection that would change everything. They were introduced to a woman named Vicky Stark Fitz, an associate of the U.S. members who lived around an hour west of Houston, and was able to obtain crystal meth that had been manufactured in Mexico.
What are these spawns?
Houston. Stark Fitz was what ABT and SWS members generally refer to as a featherwood, slang for a woman that has earned the trust of the gang, but is not a member. This new connection not only allowed Bork and Guidry to start offering higher quality drugs to their customers, but to traffic in greater amounts. And soon, Vicky started a
Jesus.
operation where members of both gangs relied on her heavily. Their group came to include Kenny Don Stanley, an SWS soldier, as well as Steve Claude Gribble, aka Space Ghost, a drug dealer who was one of Stark Fitz's customers. There was also James Settle, an up-and-coming SWS
Bro, let me
member
fucking
known as Lil Bit.
adjust my
Settle
shit.
had joined the gang in a Texas jail after his own mother, Vivian, turned him into police out of concern for her son, desperate to stave off his criminality. But the move badly backfired. In jail, Settle was introduced to more sophisticated criminals and allowed his worst impulses to thrive. And later justified his newfound gang membership by telling Vivian, quote, "Well, mama, you've got to have some friends in there."
Like, are we dead ass? Why does that kill me from there? They really ruined this shit with the shotguns.
Michael Taylor Word, and Joshua Mark
Hostile UAV established above.
Desperado, a major community who operated in 1575 Cheyenne in Vidor. As a high-ranking member, Bodine had the ability to order others to commit acts of violence, and ABT rules dictate that such orders are to be obeyed without question. Thanks to her
Check DMs.
Stark Fitz
I saw you said win live.
not only drugs, but firearms, and relied on them to sell her methamphetamine and collect debts from drug customers. It was a profitable business, but one that required them to do a lot of traffic around South Texas, and to be on their guard. However, as typically happens with methamphetamine rings, several of the people involved were users themselves, as well as traffickers, and it was just a matter of time before major problems began. March 11, 2011. On that day, Nicole Cunningham's mother, Juanette, ordered meth from Gribble and Settle for herself and Michael Word. The two measured out the drugs, secured one of Stark Fitz's firearms, and met Word at a convenience store before he took them back to Juanette's home on Elliott Street in Vidor. But at the property,
A million here, a million there.
the details of the shooting spread quickly around the small town. SWS's leaders quickly realized that they had a major problem on their hands. Not only was Juanette's son an ABT member, but Word was an associate, and subjected to a lot of the same protections as a full-fledged member. SWS badly needed to present some kind of peace offering, and time was running out for all of them.
Everyone's gun's just better.
Generations, our family has always looked to our fixers to help keep things moving. For more than 90 years, that's included Advance Auto Parts. We count on them for the right parts to keep us from missing out.
Texans, and especially other white gang members, didn't need to be reminded of the ABT's ruthlessness, but there were plenty of reminders around. For one thing, just 2 weeks before word was shot, Bodine's ABT compound in Ryder had been raided by the Orange County Sheriff and Pinehurst Police over a 2009 kidnapping attempt. Bodine, a major league, had ordered a member named John Oliver Manning, aka Fish, to abduct and assault an ABT associate named Matthew Fales over a drug debt. Manning attempted to carry out the order, but Fales fought back, and Manning had shot him during the struggle.
Skewer release detected.
Fales was hospitalized and survived, and 2 years later, the feds decided they had had enough evidence to charge Bodine and Manning with racketeering. Similarly,
That shit would hit me.
6 months earlier, Stephen Cook and David Michaels had been arrested and charged with murdering Freeman. Over the 2-year investigation, authorities learned that Freeman was on one side of a schism within the ABT. Freeman worked under a leader named Frank A. Roche Jr., a.k.a. Poncho, a man known as the General Jones. His was led by another general, Jason Lee Hankins. Cook was loyal to Trooper and learned that Freeman would recruit ABT from Trooper's faction into Poncho's faction. There were also rumors that Freeman had inappropriate contact with another gang member's underage daughter. After a group of individuals in prison authorized the hit, Cook and Michaels invited Freeman over to Cook's home in Rye. The following morning, as Freeman drove in one car and Cook, Michaels, and 2 women drove in another,
Unlock the graffiti?
they had convinced Freeman to
Camo?
pull over on the lonely road and let one of the women into his truck. So Cook's truck was out of it. When Freeman exited, Cook shot him in the head, then filled his chest with bullets. By the time Cook and Michaels were arrested, police had not only identified all as the culprits, they'd even fished the murder weapon out of a Texas lake. The murder would pay big dividends for police, as the investigation led to a raid of Cook's home that turned up a 50-gallon drum containing
That is not the right gun.
ledgers, notes,
None of them are.
pictures, constitutions,
What is this banger of a texture?
But as that case was being prosecuted in early 2011, it served as one more example of what
What are you
can
talking
happen when you SWS's leaders knew full well.
Firebrush shotgun. So fun, dude.
All of their
Hostile
lives
UAV established above.
so they decided they didn't even want to wait for reprisal. They would
You want
handle
to
The rap?
to the board, turn this around.
themselves.
You mean the camo?
2011, Stark Fitz hosted a meeting at her home with Bork and Stanley to discuss how to handle the Settle problem. Bork made it clear that Settle, quote, needed to go. And since Stark Fitz's home was being used as a hub for their
This is
criminal
the
activity,
new
they decided they would murder him there. Stanley
complete all the Black Sour words shit.
murder as needed. Burke provided Stanley with a .22 caliber revolver equipped with a makeshift silencer. In order to bring Settle to the area, they came up with a credible ruse, telling Settle that they had decided that they were going to murder him for what had happened to Word, and that because he'd screwed up, he needed
Yeah, it was
to
annoying as shit to get.
Settle willingly took part in what he believed was a conspiracy to murder Gribble, fully unaware that he was assisting
Fortunately,
his
the market
own
does
murder.
not forgive
Guidry had
incompetence.
stolen a Nissan Maxima from Houston, and the group
What'd
pulled
you
out its
send me on
contents,
Discord?
including a manual, registration, and a spare tire, then began lining the inside with plastic bags.
W
At
Gandalf?
some point on March 14, 2011, Stanley shot Settle in the head, and the group dropped him in the trunk while they debated where to dump his body in the scrub. After a couple hours, they heard moaning from inside the truck, a horrifying indication that Settle was still barely alive. Guidry handed Stanley the gun and told him to
What am I looking at?
put him out of his misery. And Stanley obeyed. Around dawn that morning,
Just
they
a
took
random
2
ass clip?
cars to a remote area at the end of a secluded logging trail and used lighter fluid to torch the Maxima and Settle's remains. It would take 9 days before a passerby discovered the Maxima and called police. While that was going on, the four sought refuge at an SWS's members' home in Madisonville, Texas. Then got hotel rooms in Arlington, where they laid low for several days. Guidry and Stanley were both promoted in rank in the SWS for their roles in the murder. We're going to state the obvious here. The details we just described came from court documents filed by prosecutors, and no one in law enforcement could have ever learned those specific details unless an eyewitness provided them. But throughout the case, the prosecution was extremely careful to not divulge the names of the informants, except in several plea agreements that named Gribble as a, quote, cooperating witness to the drug trafficking crimes. Police solved the murder by using the Maxima. They pulled a VIN plate off of the burnt car and were able to quickly tie Guidry to the Houston vehicle theft. Just 2 days after the Maxima was discovered, Stanley was arrested in Tyler County for being a felon in possession of a .357 pistol and ammunition. 2 days after that, police raided Stark Fitz's home and arrested her and Bork, who attempted to hide behind a vehicle.
Show some initiative, and Miss Kagan will
They
take
found
notice.
several guns, including a pistol that had been hidden in a speaker and a bullet.
Wow.
But most importantly, they also discovered key items that the four had apparently forgotten to dispose of: the spare tire, vehicle registration, and
This is not. Oh, there it is.
the
Okay.
Maxima. At that point, there was little Bork and Stark Fitz to explain their life. As the investigation progressed, the U.S. Department of Justice took over and decided it would charge everybody for everything. A dozen SWS members and associates rounded up on a single indictment, including the 4 people involved in Settle's murder, as well as Craig Phipps, Michael Word,
Oh, my nose itches.
and even people who alleged gang crimes had
Yeah, I
been
do use
selling more
stems.
than half gram of meth for SWS.
Like, bro, what is this shit, bro?
To trial.
Fucking explosion, explosion,
All
explosion.
received life terms after admitting to various roles in the murder. When it came time for Bork to be sentenced, Vivian Settle spoke in court, recounting the January 6, 2014.
Is there someone sitting back here?
She still felt guilty for turning her son into jail years ago, where he first met members of the SWS. Quote,
Yeah, the stems are OP. They finally added like the speed boost back.
but also a part of me, she said. We could always talk to one another about anything. One handsome face, a loyal friend, and a big heart now sits silently in a box by my bed. At Vicky Stark Fitz hearing, her attorney begged for mercy, stating that she had gone through so many personal tragedies, watching her own son be killed
My bad.
in 2002.
My bad, G.
Then Vicky wrote a speech and said, looking back, she wishes she had stopped being investigated.
Bro.
Every night I lay in bed, I wish I could trade places with Lil Bit. He was my friend. And I pray
Fucking
for his
police
family
spam it
every
in
night because I
1v5.
know what it feels like to lose
To an
a young
extent.
son like that. And I have great remorse. I really do.
They have the lead. Take it back.
The prosecution called it crocodile tears. US
Please hop out.
Judge Marsha Crum sentenced her to 30
I heard you.
years, leaving a smidgen of hope for her to be released someday if she can overcome the lower life.
Am I tripping?
From long-term incarceration. As it stands now, Stark Fitz is scheduled to be released in 2039 at age 75. She's tried to get out sooner, even filing compassionate release petitions for COVID-19 pandemic.
Used to be able to,
The prosecution has consistently hit back
I mean, you still can to an extent.
that while she may not have played a big role in the murder, she was heavily involved in the cover-up. But perhaps more significantly, in a world where a white supremacist gang was plotting to fund a segregationist colony with meth proceeds, Vicky Stark Fitz held enormous power. As the person with a solid drug connection and access to guns, in many ways, she was the catalyst for all that transpired.
Help. You got that?
Hostile skewer inbound.
What the fuck is that lag?
Hostile UAV established above.
If you deal fentanyl and it results in someone dying, I'm going to charge you with homicide. He comes home poison.
Like, bro, I can't see shit. Watching every tactical and lethal at me.
Reclaim the lead. Widen the gap.
2 bags here. This is Sheriff Marcino, the most OP sheriff.
Biblical devastation.
Washing homes and neighborhoods away.
Kinda wanna play Valorant now.
Black Ops took the lead. Do not let them keep it.
After Hurricane Helene turned our state upside down.
What? It just didn't stop sliding.
But on Martley's watch, $100 million in disaster relief. Delayed. Support for families.
Guess it was because I was on a slanted roof.
And funding to fix schools and water systems still
Pick that shit again.
Tell Michael
Peek me.
do your job. Release all the recovery funds now.
I don't mind if you isolate yourself. Depronia.
We're bringing on the heat and cleaning the streets. Welcome to
How do you email me shit, bro? Deliver it my foot. You're gay. I don't know.
What does a county that spends $250 million per year look like? And does it work?
The fence was dog.
Enemy UAV detected.
Closed, its paws duct taped together. And this oxygen stealer.
I didn't say that was gay. I said you were gay.
I would duct tape his mouth shut and his
DMing me about a Roblox avatar.
That puts Sheriff Marcino himself to figure out why they spend so much money, where it goes, and if it keeps people more safe.
Oh, this is your office. This is sick. Oh, look at this.
Bro.
You will have Law and Order. That's your mantra.
Motherfucker.
And seemingly a rare mantra these days. Now, long as this
Ripped.
mansion right here.
I don't want to have to call people to get what's going on. So as you all first and foremost,
Not ripped.
today we're up to 972
Or
calls.
counter-strafed everywhere I shot at.
This week 4289.
Or hit that
This month
movement.
50,284. This year 261,879 calls.
Okay.
You can see we're running. We're running hard. But now you come over here. I know what's going on right now in this place in this county. Aviation, if they're up, whoever's working, I can click on their camera right now and I can This is a big, big deal. And I'm going to show
like Google.
So I'm going to show you right now. I can tell you where everybody is, what they're doing, and then I can also bring up, you know, any intersection I want in the county.
Okay.
Right now.
Are we dead ass?
I have CCTV cameras right now.
Move out the fucking way, dude.
Wow. You have eyes and ears everywhere.
Everywhere. But I can go to any intersection and pull it up right now. So if there's a crash, if someone says we're in a pursuit, whatever it might be, it shows me right now. Plus, it shows me every single person working. The stars are where my deputies are. It tells me what they're doing, what they're on, what calls for service. It's important for me to have my...
Am I gonna run a circle around the map? Not run into any enemies?
Stop right here. So this is Deputy Austin, and right now I can see his body-worn camera. So it's as if we're on scene. We got this county locked down.
Hostile UAV established above.
That's what it seems like.
Hostiles are pulling in. Detected overhead.
People to do crazy stuff.
First, what's the cost of life? Is it $1? Is it $3 million? What's the cost of life? For me, there's no cost to protect lives. Secondly, utilizing grants, utilizing drug money, forfeiture money, and plus utilizing our general fund and our budget. You take drugs and guns off the streets, the crime rate goes down, the quality of life goes up. And Lee County is really, leading the way.
Back, Sheriff Marcino claims that in 2020, when he was elected sheriff, he took Lee County from the 6th most unsafe city in America, third safest county in the nation when it comes to violent crime. While I can neither confirm nor deny that statistic, here's a graph of the violent crime in Lee County since 2020. At the very least, increased police presence with more boots on the ground, Sheriff Marcino's social media conquests seem to communicate to criminals that if you commit a crime in Lee County, they will find and they will arrest you, which should deter them from acting
Damn, bro.
crimes in Lee County. In addition to overall presence in the community, Lee County is taking innovative measures when it comes to incorporating new technology like
I think it's about time for me to go back to Valorant, dog.
it's replacing
I'm just not shooting right now.
Going into the scene, his name is Robbie in our agency, Robbie the robot dog, and we use Robbie for a lot of different scenarios through our agency. This thing looks like it could hunt me down and murder me. This dog is not a dog. There's over 10 cameras on this dog. There's a PTZ camera on top with a thermal. There's two-way mic so we can talk.
Yeah, that's why you don't go towards the motherfuckers camping.
hostages. Or,
yeah. This dog can
Anyway,
open
Valorant.
doors. It can go upstairs. You know.